You know the song.
In 1492, Columbus sailed the ocean. It was a courageous...
We all heard it in elementary school on October 12th, Columbus Day, the day where Columbus and his Spanish fleet were the first explorers to set foot on America. We idolized Columbus, thinking he was a hero. Without him, we wouldn't be the country we were today. Hip hip hooray for Columbus!
Wait, what was that third grade teacher whose name I don't recall? You told us the euphemized version of Christopher Columbus? He wasn't the first explorer to discover the Indies? Columbus's only motive wasn't to find a direct passage to India?
He was a sex slave advocate, serial killer, and demented imperialist with a holiday named after himself?
Wow, no elementary teacher has ever told me that. That's right, elementary school teachers ignore the fact that despite Columbus being a brave explorer and shaping the Americas we live in today, he left a legacy which countered his glory as a gold-hungry scavenger who greatly disrupted the natives' territory and wiped away countless of populations in search of gold, God, and glory. Oh, teachers probably didn't tell young children that because they had no idea what a sex slave advocate was. Makes sense. So, why was Christopher Columbus a phony hero? Well, first let's begin with the actual journey itself.
So, of course, the journey began when Columbus fantasized about finding a quicker route to the West Indies, which had gold, silver, pearls, and spices.
After studying exploration books written by Marco Polo and Imago Mundi, which proved to not help his cause, Italian-born Columbus concluded that the distance between Europe and the eastern shore of Asia was short, and that Spain was closer to China westward than eastward, a theory which proved to be idiotic.
Apparently, some gullible people bought Columbus's proposal. The Spanish monarchs Ferdinand of Aragon and Isabel of Castile, who funded his expedition with the motive of spreading Catholicism to foreign lands, allowed Columbus to govern whatever lands he found and to keep up to 10% of the riches he found. This has greed written all over it. On August 3, 1492, Columbus set sail to the Indies with his 3 ships, the Nina, the Pinta, and the Santa Maria. After nearly 2 months of life on the water, Columbus and his fellow conquistadors reached the unknown island, which were actually the Caribbean islands. Hispaniola was what Columbus named the territory, and the native people were the Arawaks. At first, the people were afraid and hesitant of Columbus. However, after he ordered his men to be kind to the native people, the indigenous people were friendly, offering glass beads, parrots, spears, and cotton balls for European goods. A missionary on the trip, Bartolomé de las Casas, who referred to Columbus as an admiral, presented detailed descriptions about the encounters between the people. In order that they might feel great enmity towards us, because I knew that they were a people to be delivered and converted to our holy faith rather by love than force, gave us to something among them some red caps and some
In this
glass
passage,
beads.
Bartolomé hints at how the Spanish will soon convert the peaceful people by force. But first, the Europeans must get on their good side by exchanging goods.
Columbus's true intentions of conquering the newly found territories are exemplified in his reports to the royals of Spain. He talks about the natives' lack of arms and their vulnerability to Spanish conquer. They are destitute of arms, which are entirely unknown to them. They might become Christians and incline to our love of king and queen and princes and all of the people of Spain. Still convinced this new territory was Asia, Christopher left 39 of his men to build a civilization in the New World islands and returned to Spain without gold.
However, Columbus was a determined man, so he completed subsequent journeys to Hispaniola. This is where the sin kicked in.
Columbus began to grow irritated with the lack of riches in the island. Here he started enslaving the peaceful people, forcing them into labor to find non-existent gold. If a slave did not fulfill the quota of gold dust, then Columbus would cut off their hands. Another kind of slavery was performed under Columbus, which was sex slavery, where he supervised the selling of young native girls ages 9 to 10 for his men, which is noted in his diary.
Here, innocent people who were friendly and giving to the Spaniards were being unfairly treated and mass murdered. Bartolomé de las Casas actually quit working under Columbus.
The barbarians were not the native people, but Columbus and his greedy sidekicks. Although Columbus introduced domestic animals to the island, he requested enslaved natives to return to Spain with him. Columbus was one of the originators of slavery and forced labor in the Americas. Although slavery enabled production, it treated innocent people wickedly and caused suicide and homicide within populations. After 4 voyages to the Americas, Columbus rationed up a puny amount of gold and riches, but managed to wipe out 125,000 natives. Disease, mostly the deadly smallpox, was the main cause of death.
Natives were not tolerant to the foreign people of Europe and were therefore plagued with epidemic. A whole population gone. Never heard of the Arawaks? That's because they were all dead within a few years of European invasion. With the man in the spotlight, Christopher Columbus.
Sure, we wouldn't be the country we were today. We wouldn't have domesticated animals or common crops such as the potato, which was discovered during the Columbian Exchange, which was sparked after Columbus's discovery. Maybe we wouldn't have a rough past with American slaves. And maybe we wouldn't even be alive since there would still be native people. However, Columbus was a criminal whose alter ego we were not exposed to as children.
But we must not deny the fact that this powerfully controversial leader made a population go extinct, which is in no way a man we should be celebrating a federal holiday.
In 1492, Columbus sailed the ocean blue to kill a native or 100,002.